It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It's a Thursday morning on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Thank you very much for starting off the morning with us. Now, this past Sunday, an exciting new show hits SABC screens. It's called safariLIVE, and for the first time in South Africa, it allows viewers to be transported from their living rooms to come face-to-face with wild animals, as well as ask an expert guide questions and get them answered by name in real time. Now, the show's premiere signals safariLIVE's expansion from digital to broadcast, and we're joined this morning by the host, James Hendry, to share more with us and give him a big Expresso. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, from safariLIVE all the way into our studio. I like the acknowledgement of everyone around there. James, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having us.
Take us back to where safariLIVE all began and where it started.
Well, it began very unglamorously in the early 2000s with a single JPEG.
Okay.
It was a camera at a waterhole, and it uploaded one JPEG to the internet every 30 seconds.
Okay.
So it wasn't particularly entertaining. It wasn't something that gripped people like a live sportscast.
Yeah.
And then in 2007, when technology allowed for it and a bit of budget allowed for it, we started broadcasting actual game drives. There they are.
Wow.
And they started off on these vehicles with just one cameraman, one presenter, and they drive around in a very limited area because getting a signal out of these areas is quite difficult.
Of course.
In standard definition for 3 hours, and he'd rattle off just talking about whatever he saw, but because the area was quite limited, it was normally a leaf or a flower or a fly if you got very lucky, and the lions came a bit later. And then in 2015, we did our first TV broadcast, and that was to National Geographic, and yeah, that's all kind of live stuff, which is amazing. And now we've expanded to 2 locations. We're in Kenya, we're here in South Africa. That's Sydney, you just met there.
This is incredible.
And this is all live. So a lot of the stuff, yes, that's me on foot. There's a leopard on foot.
We were trying to kind of
special.
talk about how it works in the online space, and you said something quite profound that I think maybe viewers don't think about, that this is not like a live sport broadcast.
It's completely unpredictable.
Unpredictable. We know in sports there's a field, there's certain rules. You're in nature right now. So how does that work?
Well, first of all, you get up very early in the morning and you're terrified before you go live. Our TV show on Sunday, for example, we went out very early in the afternoon. We put drones up to look so that we have something to start the show with. And then you've got to rely on luck. So this last weekend, we had an amazing show where we had 2 live leopards, 2 males fighting with each other, son and father, and they performed. It was almost as if they knew they were going to be on TV and on SABC3, and they did a great performance.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have quieter drives, sometimes the action just explodes in front of you.
Yeah. And in as far as interaction goes, because obviously the move from the digital space now to broadcast broadens your audience, but the idea is still to have them interacting with you live, asking the questions.
That's the difference between this and a documentary wildlife show.
Exactly.
Is that you can ask us questions, you can interact in real time, you can ask specifically about the character you're looking at. So all of our characters are characterized, they have names, we know their histories, you can learn about their histories, and then you can ask us about them in real time.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, obviously that must have been a big jump to make that decision to now go on to mainstream broadcast. What were some of the challenges you faced, and how have you overcome them to make this possible, to merge the 2 worlds?
I think the biggest challenges are technical. I mean, there are hugely technical difficulties of getting an HD signal out of wilderness areas.
Yeah.
It's not like a sportscast again where everything's static. It's a moving signal, so the car has got broadcast equipment on it, it's moving around. And in a digital space you have time to make mistakes and that sort of thing, go offline, come back online. For TV you can't do that.
Yeah.
For TV you've got to be, you know, you've got an hour to produce a show, and everything's got to work properly.
Yeah. Now that you've had your first episode, which you're telling me went off smashingly, what is the future that you see for safariLIVE?
I think we want to expand to different areas.
Yeah.
We'd love to broadcast more to South Africans because it's really great having them on board the vehicles. South Africans obviously have an inherent love of the bush. Half of us grew up going there, half of us actually grew up in the bush. And so exposing our wilderness, our African wilderness, to South African audiences is very special for us.
Yeah.
And we'd like to expand from South Africa and Kenya to other areas of Africa and expose beautiful wildlife of this continent.
That's
to our
amazing,
people
James.
especially.
That's really amazing. I mean, if that was anything to go by what we've just seen now on this screen, mind-blowing. So your Sundays are officially booked. Okay, book them now between 6:30 and 7:30 on SABC 3. You can catch James and his team on Safari Live. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having us.
Right now, here's the headlines.